Hi, I'm Anne.
And I'm Brandon. We make up the Yoga Nomads, an online resource for yoga students and yoga teachers. We help yoga students find interesting retreats and yoga classes around the world, and we help yoga teachers market themselves online. As you probably noticed, we've been spending quite a bit of time in Dominical, Costa Rica. It's a beautiful place on the Pacific coast, and during our time here, we've spent an enormous amount of our energy at Danyasa Eco Retreat. Yoga classes, cacao ceremonies, ecstatic dance, it has everything. And today, we're sitting down with Sofiah Thom, a co-founder of Envision and a co-founder of Danyasa Eco Retreat. And Sofiah, it's been very hard to nail down a short paragraph describing what you are and what you do. So instead of me trying to explain it to the world, let's have you explain it. But the way we're going to do that is phrasing it like this. So, Sofiah, you're at a cocktail party, and someone walks up to you and they say, "What do you do?" How would you respond?
Hello. That's an interesting question. So yes, I'm at a cocktail party, and I am a Yogini, a sacred movement artist, and a goddess embodiment coach. And I'm here to guide you into living your yes.
Very nice.
We'll learn a little bit more about what living your yes means and how all of that comes into play in her offering. So, how has your family and your upbringing really influenced who you are today and what you have to offer at Danyasa?
I feel so grateful and blessed to have been born into a family of healers and authors, and I'm also fourth generation in a spiritual organization. So I grew up traveling. I was born in England, but grew up traveling and being around in different communities and going to retreats that my parents were leading, and so it definitely kind of paved the way, and I was always very supported to do what I loved and to dance and to play and to study dance therapy and performing arts and healing arts, and so they really supported me in following what really lit me up from the inside out.
That's beautiful and awesome. So you've co-founded Envision Festival. Tell us how that all came about. I mean, it was literally in your backyard, the very first one, so we're interested.
Definitely. Well, yeah, 2011 was the first year here, and I had actually been at Bali Spirit Festival in 2009 presenting and teaching there, and I was so inspired and came home and just really had this seed of inspiration, like, wow, I would love to create something like that in Costa Rica. And it was just there, you know, the seed was there. It's a nice bed. And the seed was there, and then we actually got married the next year, 2010. We had a 3-day festival wedding. Wow. That was incredible. And our friend Josh came to our wedding and experienced it, and basically the next year, in 2011, or I guess it was 2010, Josh came to us with some friends and was like, you know, they want to create this festival here in Costa Rica, and, you know, I told them, if you want to do this, we need to bring in Brendan and Sofiah. And so we met with them, and it just kind of landed in our lap, and we realized that we had the connections and the resources and the vision to create something like this. And so we all created it together, and we just ended up doing it here in Dominical. There was like 800 people with everybody included for that first year, and had the workshops here. And, you know, and really the seed, it was so much in parallel with what Danyasa is about and what my work's about, and really helping people to recognize the power of their creative mind and of what they vision. So it was really like giving people a platform and inspiring them to see, you know, what is it that you envision for your life, and like, let's dance that. Let's plant those seeds and water those seeds and dance it here. So
That's beautiful.
Very nice.
So you're really living your envisionary sense every day here at Danyasa.
definitely.
Cool. So what keeps you rooted in Dominical, aside from Danyasa? What is it about this place, this land, that keeps you here?
Well, I mean, Costa Rica, for sure, is such a special, nurturing country. Just the the jungle and the ocean and all the different climates, the microclimates, the biodiversity here, and you know, there's a fertility here. I mean, you can watch the jungle grow, and that very much, I feel like, nurtures my own work as well, and creates a really strong container and platform for people to come and to tap into the energy here, to tap into that fertility that's available, and to connect to that creativity. So I've found that it's just a really beautiful space and place to call home. I still love to go out and travel and experience and get, you know, cultured and stimulated, and then bring that back. And this is a place that really, where I can receive inspiration and, you know, and offer my work in this space. And Dominical is growing and changing. I mean, I have to say, after holding it down here, we've had Danyasa for 8 years, almost
Wow.
9 years. So we've been like kind of holding the healing arts light, and it's finally shifting in the last year. And I feel like Envision really helped to put Dominical on the map and attract like-minded people. And so now we have, you know, Mama Toucans, the health food shop, which I am so excited about. I can just go shopping for all my things there, and Mono Congo, where we like to meet. And you know, it's the hub, and we really needed that hub. And I feel like it's towns, you know, that have the yoga studio, that have the hubs, the cafes, you know, the conscious living that can attract more community and tribe. And so it's really exciting to see where it's going to go.
We're excited to see about that too.
Absolutely. So now we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and how Sofiah became to where she is today. So Sofiah, you're a healer, you're a yoga teacher, you're an influencer, you're many, many things, but you're also an entrepreneur. So how do you balance those two seemingly opposite extremes?
Yeah, it's a dance, literally. It's a good thing I'm a dancer. Yeah, it's really, you know, I've definitely had mentors and coaches to help me, because it is, you know, it's quite a thing to be able to create the content and also learn to put it up and market and all of those things. And it's about really carving out the time to make sure that all of the pieces that we need are getting watered, you know, being nurtured. So it's really also, I think, just reconnecting every day with what really lights me up, with what my purpose is, or, you know, what inspires me, and continuing to stay connected to that, which really is my yes. You know, it's like, okay, if I stay connected to what inspires me, then it helps me in doing the marketing piece or in doing the newsletters. And so just staying connected to what inspires me helps to create that bridge, to be able to just keep putting it out there. And I've just been so inspired too with the power of social media. Living here in this tiny little jungle town and watching, you know, my followers, or watching the inspiration that I can put out there from being here, that's new. You know, that was not like that when I moved here, and so it's been really powerful to tap into that.
Absolutely. So you've run Danyasa, which a part of Danyasa is a yoga studio for many years, 8 years. And it's a beautiful studio. But let's talk about how you hire a new yoga teacher. So what do you look for when hiring a new yoga teacher?
Yeah, well, you know, I do a lot of teacher trainings here as well. And so even, you know, I tell people that come to do 200 hour, I'm like, you know, I wouldn't hire most of you right off the bat, because really it's about experience. And so it's about experience, and it's about living your yoga. And I find that everybody's different. So, you know, I've hired somebody who wasn't even certified yet, but she had been with us for years. She was a dance teacher. She was embodied. She was living her yoga, and she had trained with me, you know, just here in classes. And so it's different for everybody. And even if you go to a 200-hour training, like we were just speaking about, Anne, it's like, you know, that's really a beginning. It's like you can't expect to be this expert yoga teacher who knows everything and can guide somebody. And So it's really, when I look for somebody, I have to experience their teaching. I have to really experience who they are, how they show up, how they are embodied. Are they being an exemplifier, of yoga, of being embodied, of living their truth, of speaking their truth, being present. All the different 8 limbs, not just the asana. It's about really how you show up off the mat is huge. And so for me at Danyasa, it's really important to have teachers that weave in Dharma, or weave in, the life lessons and inspiration, so that people can come away from that yoga class not just feeling like, wow, that was amazing for my body, but also for the mind, for like what our beliefs are, and how we can move through life in a more of our fullest potential. So I definitely, I'm here to also be a mentor, and so right now I'm mentoring, Amanda, who just did my training, and helping her to step more fully into herself as a teacher. And so it's also about finding your unique voice. It's not about trying to mimic somebody else, or even, mimic me or the other teacher trainers that we have. So it's really finding your uniqueness and stepping into that, so you can inspire your students to do the same.
And I think you did a good job with that in the studio, because we've taken classes from all your teachers. You've been here for over a month now, and that is exactly how we would describe it. Each teacher is unique, but they bring so much more than the asana practice. Part of the reason why we're so inspired to be here. So thank you for curating it like
working.
that. All right, so you touched on social media a little bit, and how from this little spot in Costa Rica, you can touch the world. So can you share a little bit about your strategy or your tips on how you can build a social media following, especially for a new teacher? Because I think for a new teacher, it's a little bit intimidating. They don't maybe know their voice yet. They don't know how to market. So what would be some tips for a new teacher?
For sure. I think it's important to really find what is most inspiring to them, and to, what is your message? So maybe you don't know what that is fully yet, but really it's about just following what lights you up, or where do you find that you're most interested to follow other people? What is it about those people that you follow that inspires you? And then, really it's about being authentic, and being vulnerable, and being human, and being an inspirer. So what inspired you to become a teacher? What is it that, brought you to becoming a teacher, and taking that thing that inspires you and turning that into a message, or into kind of your mission. And then really it's how you would theme a class. So how you weave in, your Dharma or the lessons that you bring. You can do that with the social media, with the posting. So you post a photograph maybe of yourself or somebody else, something that's really inspiring, that gives a feeling, because we go off feeling. So we follow, when we see an image, it wants to evoke something within us. So if it evokes this feeling of freedom, or this feeling of expression, or this feeling of, authentic sensuality, and then weaving the words to really support that. And so just staying there. And I think, one way that I really grew was, I was actually going through my neck flaring up and having this injury, and I couldn't even move, and I had to just be still. And in that stillness, I really kind of came back to that place of self-love, and how, what is the point of becoming a yoga teacher and being out there in the world and doing all this stuff if we're not taking care of ourselves first?
Right.
And so it's and people were so inspired when I started to share. I created Self-Love 2014, it was hashtag, and it was inspiring people to do something for themselves every single day that was self-love, even if that was just 5 minutes a day. And so I would just share what I was doing, and I would inspire others to do the same. And then I would even post their posts on my website. So it was just feeling this connection also. People want to feel connected to you. So it's what inspires you, and sharing that.
Thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it often feels like the yoga teacher market is a little bit saturated, and you have a very unique brand. It's clear. So what advice would you offer a newer teacher to stand out in the crowd? And you touched on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would add?
I think it definitely goes off, again, it needs to be authentic to you, and believe me, like, it's been an evolution for me, you know. I mean, and we're constantly growing and changing as well, so allowing yourself to grow with it. You know, I think that we can also get really into our heads and like, what is my brand, you know, and trying to like kind of copy other people or do different things. But you know, it's interesting. I mean, I even find that in myself sometimes, like comparing myself to other people in the industry and like, oh, well, they're doing that, so do I need to do this? And it's like again and again I'm showed, no. It's actually like just keep coming back to yourself and turning inside and listening to what is really, like, what lights you up and what is your biggest yes. You know, what is your fullest expression of yourself? What is it that you want to represent or that you do represent? And you can even actually ask other people, like, what do you love about my classes? What is it that you get away from taking my classes? You know, and that will give you feedback, because sometimes it's really hard when you're just in your own experience to have that mirror and be like, okay, what do I represent? You know, and how can I brand that? But I think just simplicity is good too. So it can even just be a little tagline, a couple words that really holds true to what your core values are. What are your core values and what do you want to instill upon your students? Mm-hmm. And you'll attract, like a magnet, you know, those people that be like, yes, I want to step into my potential, you know, or I want to like learn to be more expressive, or whatever that is.
Yeah, thank you.
So living your yes and the temple body, these are common themes that we've heard, not only in today's discussion, but all throughout the offerings here at Danyasa. So tell us a little bit about where that originates from and how you finessed these offerings.
Yeah, I think it's really my journey with all of the embodiment practices I've done. And, you know, I studied dance therapy, which is really, it's about learning that there are new ways, like when you create more pathways of moving, you create more pathways in your life, more opportunities, more ways of being. And so really learning that we hold power in our bodies to create. Like, it's really about our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions create our reality. They send out a frequency that's like magnetic, just how I was saying, you know, with somebody putting those words out, their core values that they hold true to, that sends out a magnet. So it's the same thing, like, you know, whatever we are choosing to think about or believing or acting upon, like, we're sending out that frequency, and so that comes back. And so in my evolutionary journey of, you know, going deep into what really lights me up and what is it that I'm here to teach, and it is really about seeing the body as a temple. And, you know, that's very much a tantric yoga perspective of seeing that our body is the instrument of the divine. And so, you know, really having a positive relationship with our bodies.
Yes.
With, you know, with all of our senses. Because that brings us into the present moment, and that is yoga. And it's about, you know, yoga is about the union. So it's the union of the body and the mind and the soul and all of that. And, you know, temple body, I've been playing with this idea for many years and kind of had it more on the back burner. And then I actually just went to go work with one of my heroes that you should all check out, which is Laura Hollick. And she takes like business and creativity just to the whole nother level. We were just blessed to have her staying here for 10 days actually, and I went to Canada, and she invited me to come and be part of the new Icon movie, and so she basically takes people on a journey to discover their iconic essence, and I went on this journey and discovered temple body as my iconic essence. So really that means it's about, you know, recognizing the body as a temple, and that I feel like I've been here in this life to find my path as like a modern day temple dancer, or, you know, temple yogini, and how do I show up in that way, and how to really help others to discover themselves in that way, and to see their body as sacred, and to see their life as sacred, and to really step into that. And so that goes hand in hand with the more we learn to listen to our body's wisdom and to the innate intelligence within, then we're able to really discern what is in alignment with our highest purpose or our highest expression of ourselves. And that to me is living your yes. And it's also like living your yoga. You know, it's taking your yoga off the mat, and it's really like discerning, discovering your yes, and then living that. And so allowing that to be your inner compass. So
That's so beautifully stated, and really speaks to me in many ways, many profound levels. And I know that you have a retreat coming up called Live Your Yes Yoga Retreat here in Costa Rica for a full week. And it's just for a small group of women. Tell us more about that and how we can get involved and what that means to you and how it even came to be.
Yeah, well, I have this amazing platform, and I have one other amazing, that's kind of like our getaway, called Finca Mia, or Finca MIA. And it's where we get away from here. So we have the beach town experience, and then the mountain experience up at Finca Mia. It's just an hour and a half from here, and there's little cabins and this river that you can go in that is just exquisite. And the temperature's cooler, and it's a really beautiful family vibe there as well. So I wanted to create an experience, a journey for just 11 women to really tap into what your highest yes is, to discover what that is through yoga, through dance, through self-portrait process, through expressive healing arts, going to the waterfall, plugging back into nature, doing a full moon Kali Kali ritual. So Kali is the goddess that can be a little scary for some people, which she has the tongue out, she's black, she's got the skulls around her, but I work a lot with the goddesses, and they're so powerful to help us in really recognizing that that energy and potential within ourselves. And so Kali is one that helps us to revolutionize, that helps us to really cut away anything that we're ready to release. And so we'll be doing a ritual with the full moon, with a fire, and then heading up to the mountain. So 3 days here, 4 days up in the mountain, and just diving deep and allowing the group to show me how deep we want to go in the experience. So it's really kind of this open forum for us to go deep together in sisterhood, you know, and to really unplug from daily life and come together and tap into the power that lives within us.
That's great. Awesome. So you also have some teacher training. Well, you offer teacher training all year, and you also have one coming up following the retreats for a full month. And you're co-leading that with a woman from California. Share a little bit more about what that 200-hour teacher training will be like.
Sure, yeah. I'm excited. I'm working with Sarah Lynn Smick, who actually I was first introduced through Instagram. So it's a social media connection.
That's great.
She invited me to be part of a living goddess kind of challenge or journey. And so we guided people through the different archetypes of the goddesses. And it was incredible to wake a lot of women up to the fact that they were a living goddess. so just in that opening, that's how we met. And now here we are, like a couple years later, and we've decided to come together. We're creating this body wisdom yoga teacher training and transformational journey for women. And so it's a 200-hour recognized Yoga Alliance certification. And she'll be, teaching a lot of, she brings through shamanism is her like love and passion, and also creative vinyasa. And she loves freeform dance. Like that's what she's been bringing into her teacher trainings. But now that we're collaborating, she's, having me come in and bring in the fivefold path to embodied wisdom, I call it. And it's going through different ways to tap into the body's wisdom, and through yoga, through dance, through embodying the goddesses. And so, I'm really excited to do that. It's just for women again, and it's happening starting here May 16th. So it's a 28-day journey.
Cool.
Yeah.
You two sound like such a dynamic duo. I look forward to seeing the output of that and what comes
and having
about.
you here.
Yes, and being a part of it. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up with a couple of fun questions to see if we can't get to know Sofiah a little bit more. So we'll start with Sofiah. What is your spirit animal?
Well, my spirit animal actually can change a bit. I'm a bit of a shapeshifter. Recently, though, the dragonfly, which in Spanish is libélula. It's one of my favorite words, actually.
Yeah.
And I have a little libélula tattooed with my bamboo. And it really represents the quality of magic and being able to kind of shapeshift and move about between dimensions. So it's a good one to have.
Cool.
Absolutely. Okay, so someday you'll be gone from this earth in another form, or we don't know.
Dragonfly.
Maybe a dragonfly. How would you like to leave your legacy?
Yes, I actually just shared this in an interview with Shakti Yoga Journal that's coming out, a magazine coming out soon. And for me, I'm here to really to wake up women, especially to their bodies, to recognizing that they are love, and so really I think to be recognized as a visionary who taught women the power of coming into their bodies and expressing their fullness and finding freedom through the body and through expression, through living their yes.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
All right, so to wrap up, is there anything you'd like to say to the Yoga Nomads fans and followers who I'm sure will be very excited to see this interview?
Wow, I'm excited just to connect with you and to
Likewise.
feel your ripple, and your inspiration to go out to all of you who follow you and watch this, and really just to know that you have this creative power within you, and that you can create the life that you dream of, that your thoughts and beliefs are powerful, and just like you guys quit your jobs and chose to just live your yes, it's a potential for all of us, and that there are resources to support you in helping you, and one of them would be coming here and diving in and recognizing that and seeing that potential. So yes, I'm here to support you and love you up.
Couldn't agree
Thank
more.
you so much,
Thank
Sofiah.
you so much.
It's been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.